Did you know that 13.3 people fall victim to identity theft every minute? In today's society, with the technology that keeps advancing, identity theft is becoming more and more used. I think it's very important for everybody to know the ways to prevent and detect identity theft. I myself have never fallen victim to that crime, and I give credit to the fact that I am knowledgeable about identity theft, and I do everything that I can to protect myself from it. My name is Andrea Jamison, and today I am going to tell you how to prevent, detect, and recover from identity theft in case it ever does happen to you. My first rule of thumb: make sure that you shred all of your junk mail. That includes pre-approved credit offers and even credit card and bank statements. Once you've proved your records, make sure you shred those also, because they do have your account number listed right there on them. You don't just want to toss those into a trash can, because it makes it very easy for someone to sift through your trash and get a hold of that information. And with the way that telephone and internet transactions are today, it makes it really easy for them to steal your identity, because they don't even have to have your card to make the purchase. So that's a good reason why you want to make sure that you shred all of your mail once you're done with it. Another idea is on your credit cards. Most creditors offer card protection services. They usually charge a minimal fee for every $100 that you charge to your card, and they keep an eye for large purchases and transactions that occur out of the country, and they contact you if something like that does happen, just to say, hey, what's going on? Did you make this purchase? Very worth the fee that they charge, very minimal fee, very worth it. Another service that mostly all creditors offer are online account management and paperless billing. Obviously, paperless billing eliminates the shredding. They don't send you anything in the mail, so there's no statements or anything for anybody to steal out of your mailbox or to get into in your trash can. So that's a really good tool to use. Online account management makes it simple for you. You just want to make sure that your computer is password protected, so you're the only one who can access that. You don't want to get up and walk away from your computer with that on your screen and just have anybody be able to access that information. Use email alerts. They alert you whenever your account balances are low, or another thing is if you do make large transactions, you can get email alerts from your creditors telling you that that's happened. That's a good tool to use. You do want to make sure that you are aware of what your creditors' web addresses are. Identity thieves are using something called spam. They send in your email, and if they prompt you to click on a link, and it takes you to a site that hacks into your computer and accesses your personal information that way. The safest thing to do is, if you think that it's legitimate, go in and type the URL in the search bar yourself, to make sure that you're getting to the right place and it's not a spam email. Second rule of thumb: check your credit report. Under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, you are allowed one free credit report per year from the three major credit reporting agencies, which are TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. Go to www.freecreditreport.com to get that. You just want to check it out at least once a year to make sure there's no discrepancies, no addresses you've never lived at, no accounts that you haven't authorized to be open. Just make sure that everything's looking legitimate and clean and clear cut the way that it should. Because of identity theft, the way that it is becoming so aggressive in today's society, most creditors want you to prove that you actually are who you say you are. A lot of people will still accept driver's license as identification. If they won't, some people want to see Social Security card or birth certificate. Never carry those with you on a daily basis, just in case your wallet or your purse are stolen and those are in there. It's just like giving your information away right there. You want to keep those locked in a safety deposit box or a fireproof safe, and if you do have to present those for identification, you want to make sure you take them out and put them back as soon as you're done. Don't carry those around with you. Very bad idea. Also, another thing, don't have your Social Security number printed on your checks. I think they've pretty much done away with that, but I think that it is still offered if you wanted to do that. And also don't have it as your driver's license number. Telephone calls. You want to monitor your telephone calls. A lot of times identity thieves will call you and tell you that they are from a government agency or your financial institution, and that they're needing personal information to resolve a matter that has to do with your banking business. Most financial institutions and government agencies will not ask you for that information over the phone, so that's something you want to keep in mind. If you do get one of those calls, it's probably a hoax that they're asking you for your personal information over the phone. So you just want to watch out for that. Also, if you're somebody who gets onto a chat room or a dating service, you want to watch out for that because they are targeting people who use those. They befriend you, make you think that they're somebody they're not, and usually a lot of times they'll start asking you to send money, and normally in the form of a wire transfer or certified funds. I do have seen this happen to someone firsthand, and it was not a good situation. I actually used to work at a financial institution, and we had a customer who met this guy online who told her he had been working out of the country and was out of money and couldn't afford to come home. This went on for a long period of time, and he made her believe that he was going to come back to the United States and marry her, and he was in love with her, and he was having her wire him money to a bank account in this country that he was in, and eventually completely drained her savings. He had a different excuse every time of why that wasn't enough money, or something had came up and he had to use it for something different, but totally drained this poor woman's savings, and I really hated to see her fall for that. But that is one way that identity thieves are targeting people also, is things like that. One other thing to remember, a lot of things now require a PIN number, such as your debit card or your credit cards. You want to make sure that you're using random letters and or numbers. You don't want to have it be anything that's linked to you, such as your birth year or last four of your social. That's probably not the best idea. Make sure that you are using random for that. Don't have your checks delivered to your home. It's a pretty good idea to have those delivered right to your bank, just so nobody can take them out of your mailbox. If they are delivered to your bank, they're obviously inside in a safe place. As I said earlier, if you think you have fallen victim to identity theft, you are given the free credit report per year. You want to make sure you check that. If you find something strange on there, issue a fraud alert on your credit report. This doesn't prevent you from getting credit. It just makes it a little bit harder, yet a little bit safer for you. If you do happen to apply for credit, the financial institution or creditor is required to call you before they can open that account to make sure it was you who authorized that transaction. If you find a discrepancy on your credit report, make sure that you contact that creditor within 60 days, or even on your credit card or bank statement. Make sure you contact your creditor within 60 days, because after that time period you could be held liable for those charges. File a police report. You want to make sure that somebody's working on catching them. Also, you want to have documentation in case you ever have to go to court over an issue like that. Also, it's a good idea to file a report with the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. They don't help in the investigation, but they do keep a log of all the victims to help law enforcement track down the thieves. Monitoring your credit report is not the only way to detect identity theft. Also, pay attention to your mail. If you have missing bills, that can mean that somebody's gotten a hold of your identity and changed your mailing address to receive your statements and things like that. Obviously, if you receive a credit card that you didn't apply for, that's usually a pretty good sign that somebody's gotten a hold of your information. You'll want to contact that creditor and immediately close the account, tell them what's going on, throw up a red flag so they'll know that they need to watch for that. Another red flag is receiving calls from debt collectors for debts that you don't owe. You want to make sure while you're on the phone with them, that first call, you want to tell them, hey, I didn't make these charges. Let them be aware that you are disputing it. And again, anytime something like that happens and you contact the creditor or debt collector, make sure you follow up with them in writing and keep a copy of what you send, just so you do have documentation that you have taken steps to resolve the issue. In order to recover from identity theft, there are a lot of things that you have to do, and it can be very time-consuming. The amount of time it's going to take you to completely recover depends on a lot of variables that I'm getting ready to tell you. The first thing is, the longer it takes you to discover that your identity has been stolen, the longer, obviously, the more damage the thief could have done, and the longer it's going to take you to recover and find out what all has happened to your credit report. Another bad thing is if you've had credit issues in the past, it's going to take a little extra effort to get those creditors to actually believe that you didn't make those charges and you're not just trying to pull a fast one over on them. Also, if your purse or your wallet were stolen, you probably had multiple cards in there, so obviously it's going to take more time to contact all those creditors and put those alerts on and close those accounts and sift through and see if there's been any unauthorized transactions that happened on there. Another thing to think about is a lot of times identity thieves do not use your information themselves. They sell it to other thieves. So obviously that's going to put a big hurdle on trying to track down the thief, definitely, and resolving the issue. The FTC actually estimates that it takes about 6 months and 200 hours worth of work to completely recover from identity theft. And as I discussed earlier, if you have fallen victim to identity theft, make sure you place a fraud alert on your credit report to keep people from opening any additional accounts in your name. You do only have to contact one of the major credit reporting agencies, which are Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. Whichever one you contact is required to contact the other two reporting agencies. So actually that saves you a little bit of time there. Next, you want to make sure that you close all accounts that have been tampered with or opened that were not authorized by you. Obviously, you want to make sure those are closed. Like I said, follow up in writing and make sure you file a report with the police department and the FTC. So help track down those thieves. Now that I've told you all of the information that you need to know on how to